Hello, and welcome to Bipolar to Creator. It is January 1st, 2025, and I want to write something for New Year's Day, but having a bit of a delay getting into being able to write it. So I thought I would just start to talk with myself a little bit and hopefully sharing my experience will help you too or support your journey in what you want to get up to this year. And this morning, I found myself wanting to find something inspirational to watch or listen to. I found a few different things, and one of them was um, by Dion V. Mall. And he has an app where you can sign on to the app and listen to different talks that he's given. And so I clicked on the app, and for some reason, it just went straight to a talk. And usually it's like, no, I go in there and I pick a talk to listen to. But for some reason, it just like went to this talk. So I realized, okay, this is what I'm meant to listen to. And the talk is called Live a Life of Creation. Or actually, no, it's called Waking the Creator in You. So living life as a creator, living as your best possibilities is what Dion Vimal is mostly about. And I really appreciate that. And it's in alignment with my experiences. But something really clicked when listening to this talk. And he was speaking about being beyond reacting to the past and then sort of desiring or wanting a future that is based on a reaction to that past, like whatever's happened along the way. So, how we've been affected by others, and we get reduced to that. We get reduced by what we've been affected by. And then we live a life that is a product of this reduced state of being. And the other state of being, he was saying, is this state of creation, like creating something new, really being deeply creative as a human, not creating something out of a reaction to the past, but something that really has nothing to do with any of that. And that's the part that really stuck out to me, because a lot of what I create seems to be a reaction to my experience with bipolar disorder. Yet much of it, I feel, is really about creating a bridge between bipolar disorder and human potential in general. And that's something that I'm trying to do for myself. But then, in a way, is that a reaction to the diagnosis I've been given? Because a lot of the creative stuff has nothing to do with bipolar disorder, in my view. Yet there's this diagnosis of bipolar that I've been reduced to. And then I'm sort of reacting to that rather than truly being in a creative state without reference to bipolar. But then at the same time, I'm also wishing to create possible paths for others to also bridge between this. And perhaps perhaps there's this world of sort of reacting to the diagnosis, or not really reacting, but in reaction to, right? Like if I'm talking about creativity and referencing bipolar all the time, then it's sort of a reaction. Whereas if I just tomorrow decided, well, I'm a painter and that's all I talk about, maybe that energy and that drive and that capacity to be a painter came post bipolar diagnosis, but has nothing really to do with it. So, what I'm saying is, I could create something that doesn't talk about bipolar at all, or I can continue doing what I'm doing. And I could also do both. But it really also struck me that this world that I was in as a creative state, feeling like I'm a creative being, before I was diagnosed, the months leading up to it, at that I feel like it was a different world that operated in different ways and I operated in different ways. And what I'm trying to get at is that it's a state of being that is divorced from this reacting to the past or desiring a certain thing to happen in the future because of what's happened in the past. Like, that's kind of the essence of what that state is about. And it got me thinking as well about how, there's creativity, there's being in the state of being a creator, like literally being a creator. And then there is, I feel, a world of creation, which is kind of this totally different world, this totally different reaction. Like, and so this world of creation or this state of being a creator could be similar to what I've called the adjacent light body, because it's sort of undisturbed and perturbed by what has happened. And it's sort of always there in the adjacent possible. And we can click into that and be in this state of being a creator. And when we're in that state, at first, it's probably quite clumsy, and trying to figure out how to live that way is a big challenge. So then what happens is we can get a diagnosis, and then maybe we sort of can reconnect with our creativity at some point. And if we're lucky, we can be, that's when it can get us into trouble. And then I was even, so one thing I'm thinking about is this word mania, because I talk a lot about mania, and really it's a word for creativity. Like, that's how I see it. And like, we can be creative without mania. We can learn that. And then I was looking up the word mania, and I asked ChatGPT to give me the anagrams for mania. And one is amnia and one is anima. And just like I talked about the creativity, the creator, and the world of creation, because there's creativity without mania, right? So you could say there's creativity, there's mania, which is sort of like the creator. And then if you look up the word amnia, amnia is short for amnion, which is a membrane surrounding an embryo. So in a way, the mania and the creator state is trying to break through this embryonic wall into this world of creation, or being in this anima, which is like animation. And anima is a term for the feminine aspect of a man's psyche. So I don't know if he means man as in human or man as in male, but here in the way we're talking about these words, I'm going to say that this is like, by looking at these words, looking at the words contained in mania, and that's something I sort of talked about in my first book, but I didn't see the word anima there. But it's sort of, those stages are there within the word mania, and it's about creativity. So I was thinking about like how to move forward with it and how much to just say mania and how much to talk about creativity in general and what to focus on. So I'm not exactly sure, but um, I feel like mania is like an initiation into this creativity, and it starts to awaken. But if we want it to fully awaken, as it says, well, this is all just some kind of illness, and so um, bother don't bother to participate with it in any way. Just shut it down. And in a way, I do see it as an awakening. And that would be like saying, just don't wake up in the morning. Like when you feel like your body's waking up, just, go back to sleep. But if you've already had enough sleep, you can't force yourself to go back to sleep after a certain point. So, but if you just keep taking some kind of medication that's going to make you go to sleep, well, then maybe you will, but um, it's not going to help in the long run. I'd want to create that has nothing to do with reacting to bipolar. And, maybe I'm not even doing that. I'm just sort of using the words that I've been given and I'm trying to move into not using them. Or maybe that's the thing I'm meant to create, is this bridge that I seem to be participating with, creating. And in this talk by Dion Vimal, there's a quote here. It says, "The real effort is to be able to be in this space for a period of time till one can wake up to this truth of oneself being a creator too." So to me, when I read that, I was like, wait, that's sort of what mania is. It's being, or I feel like Jesus, or I am Jesus, or these things, because we're awakening to the truth that we have this creator dimension within ourselves that can create something without reference to who one was in the past. And then the mental health system comes in and says, oh, this person had a huge personality change. They weren't acting like themselves and all this thing. If you look at what Dion Vimal is saying, there is this capacity that can be initiated and awaken to be in this creator space. And the creator space and our ego, meaning our life story and who we are and how we've fragmented and coalesced ourselves into a capacity, right? So part of what I like to do for myself, and hopefully it can be helpful to others too, is to read and see, wait, this is kind of talking about the same thing, but the thing is that most of us get sort of captured out of it and steered towards a mental health system that basically profits off us, forgetting that we are prophets, we're creators. Now you could say, well, prophets is a strong word, but I was just watching a video on YouTube, just refreshing myself of some of the great videos that I watched last year. And they're saying similar things, which this one here, it's called What Happens to Consciousness When Cloud. The point was talking about how there's a now moment, which is like a tenth of a second long. And then there's this now that is also all of the cosmos all throughout all of time, where everything is happening at the same time. So it's like these scenes existing everywhere. And they give the example of the movie Interstellar, where he can see his life in different blocks of actually being there all at the same time, and that's when there is no time at all. So one of the things he says, which is a cool quote, is that you can basically what did he say?